This first storyteller is actually one of my close friends, man. I've been knowing this guy. He's been doing them off, killing it, coast to coast, worldwide. He has a immigrant storytelling event in January. You can find more information out about it in the program. He's the first one. Let's really go hard. Start clapping for a former Grand Slam champion, and he's here right now. My friend, Mr. Nestor Gomez, everybody. Give it up for Nestor Gomez.
No kid ever grows up wanting to be an immigrant or a refugee. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a teacher, a lawyer, or a journalist. So now as an adult, I pay close attention whenever I see any of these people at work. A couple of months ago, I spent days watching the news, but not because of my dream of becoming a reporter, no. I was watching a video clip of an immigrant mother who, after weeks of being separated from her kid, who had been ripped away from her arms and put into a cage, was finally being reunited with her kid. I see as the mother, trembling and crying, sees across the room the image of her small son. She runs to her son and gets down on her knees, and she hugs her son in such a way as if to make sure that they will never again be separated. But the kid doesn't look at her, and the kid doesn't hug her back. And I wonder, maybe the kid is too traumatized, or maybe he's mad at her. Maybe he blames her for everything that happened so far. And I think that because for a long time, that's the way I felt about my own mother. When I was about 10 years old, my parents came to Chicago and left me and my siblings with our grandparents. It wasn't until 5 years later that they sent for us and we came to this country undocumented. And at first I was happy to be reunited with my mother. But then, like any other immigrant, I started to notice how hard it was going to be living in a country with a strange culture and a language I knew nothing of. I started to feel strange and alone. And I started to blame my mother for taking me away from everything I knew so far. On my senior year of high school, I learned that I had to renounce my dream of becoming a reporter or a teacher or a lawyer. When I told my mother that I was studying so hard to go to the university, and my mother said, we cannot afford to send you to college or the university. So I told my mother, it's okay, I'm going to get a scholarship. You know you're undocumented and you cannot apply for a scholarship. Again, I blame my mother for bringing me to this country undocumented. After graduation, I told my mother that since I couldn't go to college, I was going to marry my high school sweetheart. You can't do that. That's going to complicate your immigration status, my mother said. Stop ruining my life, I told my mother. And I was so mad at her that I defied it and got married anyway. Also, my girlfriend was pregnant, so we kind of had to get married. And after getting married, I realized that getting a good paying job without the proper documents was going to be difficult. So I started to work at a fast food restaurant. And every day I'm blaming my mother for my financial situation. I blame my mother for everything bad that happened in my life. While I was busy building resentment against my mother was busy working 3-4 jobs to save enough money for our immigration applications and to pay for our fines for our immigration applications. In one occasion, when my application had been denied because I had gotten married, she gave me a form that I was supposed to fill up. But I was so mad at her that I took the form and I threw it on the garbage can and I stomped out of her house angrily. My mother went back in the garbage can, fished up the application, filled it up, and closed a check and sent it to immigration. I would have never gotten a green card if it wasn't because of my mother. But it wasn't until March of this year, almost 30 years after I came to this country, that I finally became a USA citizen. So the day that I became a citizen, I called my mom to give her the good news. And also, I wanted to apologize to her for all the times that I have built resentment against her. I told her that I was never again going to throw stuff like that on her face. And I apologized, and I told her that I was always going to be grateful to her for all her hard work. We hugged, and we cried. That was a couple of months ago. But a couple of weeks ago, as I watched the video clip of the mother being reunited with her son, I cannot help but think about my own immigration experience. And I cannot help but wonder, how long is the kid going to be upset at his mother? I keep watching the clip, and I see that the kid is no longer looking away. The kid is looking at his mother, and his little arms are moving to embrace her. This little, beautiful kid has managed to learn in a few minutes what it took me years to understand, that it was not his mother's fault that they had to come to this country undocumented. He just tried to provide him with an opportunity, a life, freedom, and the pursuit of happiness. And as they hug, they cry. And as they cry, I cry. I cry out for justice. I cry tears of anger. But this is no longer the misguided anger of my youth. No, never again. This is anger with a purpose. The purpose to fight for those immigrant children the same way that my mother fought for me. And to use that anger to protest, to march, and to help people understand that children do not belong in cages. And that families belong together.